Welcome back to Let's Play Katawa Shoujo. So, we completed Shizune's route the other day. I can't even remember when I recorded that, because it was like 3 parts in one, so it was a couple days back. Now we start Lily's route, or rather, we start the long journey to Lily's route, because it's probably going to take a while before our route officially begins. So this will be the final route in the visual novel. So without further delay, let us begin. Also, I did say ages ago, maybe might, read through this bit again, on screen. Why not? Well, actually, now that I think about it, nah.
It's like, oh, well, I went out the window pretty fast. Sorry, Hanako, but, it's a very long scene. A very, very long scene.
Also, I also remember saying that at some point maybe pick the other choice. And you know what? Why not? Well, why do I have to? Of course not. That's why I asked. Right. Let's go then. My heart is pounding in my chest and it keeps me thinking about my condition as I follow the teacher up the stairs. The third door down the third floor corridor is marked as the classroom for class 3-3. It opens the door and enters. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late again. I hesitate for a split second at the door, freezing on the spot. Ah, get a grip. This is a big step, I know that, but there isn't any point of worrying so much about it. At least not this soon. So the dialogue remains the same, but I think the outcome is a bit different. And it doesn't really have any real effect on any of the character routes, I don't think. I follow the teacher into the classroom and look around, and you know what? Skip until I get to something different. Yeah, there it is. After the applause, there's a brief silence that nobody seems to want to be responsible for breaking. And the teacher soon realizes that he should probably say something. He opens up with some unintelligible noise, shuts up as he loses momentum, and then starts introducing me. Nobody seems to be too interested. Maybe I should have said yes to the self-introduction thing. Probably realizing he doesn't know anything about me, he just ends up saying my name wrong again and asks me to write it on the blackboard. I do that and turn back to face the classroom. Well, class, same thing. Feeling awkward. I listen to the teacher as he drones about getting along while letting my gaze sweep across the classroom. Everyone seems to be listening to him intently, and when he's done, they clap their hands again, which feels like a weird thing to do. The first row girl claps on this round with her one hand against her other wrist that ends in a bandaged stump. Makes me feel a little bad. We're going to be doing some group work today, so that'll give you a chance to talk with everyone. Is that okay with you? Yes, I will skip through the whole thing. Oh wait, Misha looks at me with a weird expression, then continues.
We don't know much about him, but maybe we'll find out later.
Maybe I should have introduced myself after all. Anything would have given a better first impression than the teacher drone and fumbling with my name.
We know there was going to be a new student, but we didn't know you would be here today so soon. He-chan, right?
He-chan? Yeah, I get used to being called... God damn it. Is that all? Usually the second one is just like, oh, did you want to add this on to your freaking Google Chrome? No! Don't care. It feels weird skipping through their scenes after, the whole, what was it? Oh yeah, freaking Shizune's route, wasn't it? You know, I'm just gonna sit my usual way. You know, I could sit at the freaking desk, but I can't be asked. Ask about the library. Oh yeah, is there a library in the school? Lately I've gotten into read a lot, so I like to check it out. Misha gives the kind of frown that makes it clear she doesn't consider reading a healthy hobby, but then picks up her smile again. What? She doesn't consider reading a healthy hobby? The hell sense does that make?
There is! It's in the 2nd floor. We can show it to you sometime.
Thanks. I returned to my food while the girls talked between themselves. That is all the information we needed from you.
Hanako! Wait, no, it's still not time for Lily to appear. Wait, when does Lilly appear? I forget. Kenji! Misha Shizune! Long drawn out scene. Oh yeah. We're gonna make a different choice on this one, even though
The walkthrough doesn't say anything about it. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it would for Shizune's route, but we've already gone over there, so it's be like, it's a trap! It's smart to play defensively here. It's likely that she's just trying to psych me out. Looking at the board again, I have a pretty good defense setup, and I'm not going to risk doing something reckless. A few turns later, I lose the game anyway. Shizune adjusts her glasses victoriously and allows herself to tentatively pump a fist in the air in celebration. That's the thing, you just can't win against Shizune, but the dialogue's a bit different. She, like, kind of is all like, oh, you're such a pussy, Sao, you're not taking adventurous turns and all that, even though, you know, he loses regardless of what he does anyway, so what's the point?
Ahaha! He-chan, you lost when you allowed me to take North America! I mean, She-chan, not me. Getting control of North America is ambitious because it provides a 5-army bonus, but you can attack it from 3 sides, so you must defend them all. I thought you'd have more guts, how disappointing!
See, she's just like, oh, you've got to, like, freaking charge head first into everything. That's her freaking personality.
Ambition, He-chan, it needs to be more daring. Ambition, ambition.
You know, I'm not really gonna mention Suzune's ending, because spoilers, even though we just went over it. But it just feels weird to be like that after what we learned about Shizune in the last few parts of her route, you know, when it came to ambition.
I was really excited when you took South America, but then you switched to playing defensively just because you gained a small advantage. That's no good, He-chan, even though you would lose either way. You didn't take enough risks, and when you didn't follow through. That's terrible, He-chan.
Damn, what is it to her if I play too carefully? There's no need to rub it in my face.
I wonder if you'd be any good for the student council.
What's this, reverse psychology? I guess I don't have to worry about joining or not in that case.
Giving up just like that, I expected more of you.
Seriously, is Shizune trying to taunt me into joining the council? You know, even though we went through Shizune's route and her character kind of grew on me eventually, I still kind of just like... She's still kind of a bitch. A lot of the times. Even when we hear it all about her. I mean, it's understandable because of her dad, as we found out, was a complete jackass. So that obviously kind of ended up influencing her attitude to things. But still. Anyways, I think that's all the new dialogue there, so skip mode? Nope, it isn't actually. Besides, I don't even want to join. It's only my second day. I can't make that kind of commitment. I haven't even taken a look at any other clubs yet. And these two, they're a little weird. All the characters are a little weird, but hey, that'd be people in general, really. Everyone's a bit weird. Fine, I'll consider joining the council, but I want to take a look at the clubs before I decide.
Really, He-chan? You're not just saying that to make us feel better.
Yeah, I'm just not sure what I want to do. I already did the student council thing.
Okay, He-chan, but we're not going to give up so easily. You said maybe. There's still a chance you'll come around.
This reminds me of Dumber and Dumber, where he's just like, so you mean there's still a chance? After just being given this, like, I can't even remember what it was it like 99% chance of, like, or 1% chance of, like that, I can't quite remember, but it was a very small percent chance that he'd have to be in a relationship with the woman that he was, like, fell for and all that, and he was like, so you're telling me there's still a chance, or something like that?
Come on, we could really have fun, we could play more Risk, and maybe one day you could beat me, unless we graduate before that.
I don't think he ever did beat her at Risk, but then again, I don't think it ever came to them playing that game again. Or if they did, it didn't happen on screen. That doesn't make me feel any less reluctant about joining, you know.
Haha, sure you're not that horrible at board games, Maybe we can play a game you know then, to give you a handicap.
I might have said that just to make you feel better, after all.
Oh, that's cool, He-chan.
I take a glance at the clock on the wall and realize I spent far longer playing Risk than I expected. Is that... Wait. Actually... Be very careful skipping. Probably is that the yeah, this is where he meets up with Lilly, isn't it? The problem is that the library's whereabouts are not as easily determined as one would think. The classrooms are marked with signs stating which class they belong to, but then there's a plethora of other unmarked rooms. Is the library one of them, or is it just somewhere down the hallway? I bet on a ladder and choose my direction at random. After I turn around a corner, an unmarked door draws my attention, because it's not closed. It's not open either, though, just barely ajar so that I can see it's open and nothing else. It would make sense for the library door to be unfittingly open, and while this one is not quite that, it's good enough. At the very least, it makes that means that someone is inside, and I can ask for directions no matter how embarrassing that is. I gingerly put on the center of the door with my with my fingertips, every muscle in my arm ready to pull back at a moment's notice. The feeling of being an outsider to the school can't be shaken from my mind, so much so that I instinctively fear doing something wrong by entering. The door slowly creaks as if groaning from a deep sleep, which is much easier to open than I'd anticipated. Leaning over and poking my head over further inside to gain sight of the room as fast as possible, the meek hello on my lips is quickly snatched away. This is not as I was expecting. I mindfully let the door open to its full extent, taking in the sight of the solitary figure taking center stage in the otherwise abandoned room. The situation steals my voice, leaving me standing at the doorway staring at the beautiful girl. Evidently, having taken her time to assess the situation, the girl gently puts down her teacup and opens her eyes, but doesn't look at me.
Hello there, may I help you?
Staring directly in front of herself, the movements of her lips seem to break the silence rather than the words. However, it's the soft, measured voice that reminds me she's a being separate from the room itself. Not only is she likely the tallest girl I've ever laid eyes on, but even among the foreigners I've met, she's strikingly distinct. Hi. Sorry for intruding, I was just kinda lost. She takes a moment to formulate a response before speaking. Every action she takes feels as if it's carefully choreographed beforehand.
Care to take a seat?
Unexpected, considering that I'm intruding upon her. Thanks. I slowly step towards another seat opposite her, the girl resting the teacup and saucer on the wooden table in between. The way she doesn't track my movements with her head is telling. That and the slight cloudiness to her eyes means she must be at least partially blind like Kenji. Come to think of it, her voice doesn't have any detectable accent either. I guess she must be half Japanese. As I take my seat, her composure takes me slightly off guard. Her air of relaxed confidence makes the silence entirely comfortable.
You know what I just said about the accent there? Well, I don't know if I have a distinct accent or not, but anytime someone comments on my accent, it's usually like, you don't really sound like you're from Wales, but I am. It's just like it's like a freaking mix of different accents must have influenced it or something. I have no idea. The calming atmosphere is so very different from the student council office. I take it you're a new student to Yamaku.
Yeah, I just transferred in yesterday. I get a distinct feeling my speech patterns don't match the formality of hers, accentuated by her restrained bow of greeting. One which I hasten to match before realizing the futility of the action.
I'm Lilly Satou. Pleased to meet you.
Sao Nakai. She gives a nod before gesturing roughly in the direction of her teacup.
Do you care for a drink?
Sure. As much as it pains me, I can't keep a step with her formality in the proceedings. She gives a kind nod, taking the request in stride. Without another word, she steps off the chair and prepares a second cup of tea from a collection of supplies laid out along a shelf.
A brush here, a brush there, her left hand often lightly touching the side of whichever container she's pouring into. It seems to be a process she's followed dozens of times before. As I lean sideways to see around her back, she seems to use her long, dainty finger to measure the ring amount of water in the cup. It's one thing to see the different disabilities the students in my class have, but it's quite another to see how everyone seems to adapt. Student and me should have no problem working together to communicate to me, and Lily herself seems to have workarounds for problems I had never thought of. While I feel slightly guilty about her doing the work, she seems pleased to be following the correct process of her preparing the drink. So, her soft voice brings me out of my silent observance, and complete opposite is my freaking nephew, just like being loud in the background as it always is whenever he's down the house. Anyways, silent observation, I don't know if I read that properly. Which room were you looking for? It's not often this classroom is visited after school. The school library, she's in some classmates told me it was on this floor. She finishes pouring water into the teacup as she nods, a small metallic tapping coming from the teacup indicating it's being stirred. I'm aware of Miss Takamichi, as are most students. To be with them means you're in class free, no? That's right, in the science room with Miro. She gives a small giggle before setting down a teaspoon and slowly walking towards the table, teacup and saucer in hand. He's quite a character. I imagine you'd come to like him. Most do. As she sets down the tea, I gently take it and take a sip. I'm really more of a coffee person. This seems like a rather bad moment to bring it up. Nonetheless, the smell's quite nice. I hardly think it'd be hard to choke down. Thanks, Satou. It tastes real nice. She smiles and quickly waves her hand in front of her face. Lily, please, there's no need to be too formal. She says this in spite of her exceedingly well-bred speech. Oh well. I guess we should try and ask her about herself, as it really does seem as if she is catering to me. So, which class are you from? I imagine it's one of the third-year classes. Correct, I'm in class 3-2, which is on the third floor, same as yours. It's taught by Miyagi, and is specifically for both blind and partially blind students. I see. Sorry. I feel like slapping myself at the box bar looking at her face, though. She doesn't seem in the least bit put off by it. And again, with the way I read, it's completely different. Like, you know how people pause, when they, reading? Because that's how, it is. It's like full stop, you got the comma and all that. You're supposed to, breathe a bit, pause a little. But if I did that, along with my rambling, I think I've even said this before, but if that was the case, this LP would drag on a lot longer if I read at that pace all the time. My, there's no need to change your speech on my account. Sorry, I guess I'm really showing my newness here. An environment like this would be a big change, so I can't fault you for it. Well, the same can't be said for everyone. Many have come to terms with their conditions. A category which would include her, it seems. All too ready to jump ship from this particular topic, I forget the pronunciation, into another. You come here to drink tea often. It's a really nice place. Thinking on it, this might be her version of the place behind my school that I like to have lunch at. I come here fairly often during lunch times. What the freaking hell, man? Remember when that freaking popped up? It's like, oh, this and that. It's like, I think one of them's for freaking Internet Explorer or whatever it's called nowadays. I don't even use that browser, man. Whatever. My duties as class representative don't leave enough time for an official club, so a friend and I use this room for having tea. Class representative, huh? Compared to Shizune, her mannerisms seem to be almost completely opposite. While Shizune is blunt and fiercely driven, Lily seems relaxed and calm, almost aloof. Come to think of it, she might be useful for a less biased view of the school's clubs. What kinds of clubs are there to join? The more popular ones are the track and field club, which used a field near the school during lunchtimes, baseball club and the book club in a room near the library. There are also numerous smaller ones too, those such as the art and music clubs. At a time when I wanted to get on my feet, rushing into a club right away seems slightly unappealing. I wonder if this school shares the same rule as my old one. Is it compulsory to join the club? It isn't, though it is encouraged. Ah, good. That's a relief. I've really let down my guard around this girl to let such a thing slip out. The fact seems to slightly amuse her. Not wanting my tea to get cold, I finally start drinking it as Lily does the same. As I look over to the window over her shoulder, I notice the light coming into the room has a distinctly orange tint. Even here, time doesn't stand still. Huh, the time's gone quickly. Sorry? Right, she's blind, of course. She can't see the sun setting. It just looks like the sun's starting to set. It seems to come as a surprise for her. I guess she must have lost track of the time. Sorry, Asao. I didn't mean to keep you from the library for so long. I quickly moved to allay her concern. Ah, no, it's okay. The library's still open, isn't it? She pauses and takes a moment to think on it. It's probably something I should have asked today when I had the chance, but Lily seems likely to know in any case. True, it's open until 6:30 during weekdays. A quick glance at my watch confirms I have well enough time to get there. I might get going in that case. It's been nice talking with you, Lily. She smiles and gives a deep nod, her hands still neatly folded on the table in front of her. It was my pleasure. Oh, come to think of it, shall I show you to where the library is? I couldn't possibly ask for more help. I should be able to find it all right. Well, unless my navigational skills fail me. Which they seem to have a habit of doing. It's alright, I was going to be talking to the librarian there in any case. I could introduce you. This gets better and better. It's pretty hard to deny her offer. If you're sure, then that'd be great. Thanks. As she stands up to follow me, she takes hold of the straight retractable cane that had been hipped in the handle of her bag on the floor. Compared to the cane the boy in my class had, Lily's looks much thinner and longer. His must be for sport, whereas Lily's is for navigation. Together we leave the peaceful room and enter the empty hallway on the way to the library. Side by side, my pace carefully slowed to match hers. We slowly walk through the hallway. It doesn't take long for us to arrive at the door to the warm-looking room, apparently situated in the center of the floor rather than aisle wing. Ladies first. She gives an appreciative smile at the gesture, taking the lead as we file in. To the left is the wooden library counter, with the library proper being on the right. It easily dwarfs my school's library with the distinct smell of... I thought that was my phone for a second. It easily dwarfs my old school's library with the distinct smell of old books giving the place an almost old-world air. There doesn't seem to be a lot of students here. Considering the time, it isn't a big surprise. Everyone is probably either in the school grounds or the dorms. Yuko, are you here? She says it to thin air since the librarian doesn't seem to be present, and of course they can't see this. What's unexpected is that it draws a reaction. Something from under the counter thuds against it, followed by a quiet wail. Ah! Is that voice acting? Quality voice acting. The origin, apparently, the librarian, quickly crawls out and bounces up to extremely rigid attention. Hi, Lily. How can I help you? You know, honestly, I've noticed Yuko, the voice that I decided to give Yuko, is a bit slightly more distinct than the typical voice acting I do for female characters. So she's got a slightly distinct voice from me there. The voice is strained in a failing attempt to sound casual, and she's rubbing the back of her head. Good afternoon. What happened just now? I heard a strange sound. It's nothing. I just hit my head. See, I dropped an eraser under my desk, and while I was looking for it, a pencil dropped, and when I was looking for both of them, you came and surprised me. Are you alright? I'm sorry. I couldn't know. It's okay. Sorry for making you worry. This is nothing. I've had worse happen to me. It's like the voice I give her is a bit more flustered, I guess, which is kind of, you know, the point, because she's always kind of flustered a lot of times, isn't she? It's like, it's just like too much pressure. I'm stressed out here. She's quick to reverse Lily's apologies, almost frantically trying to push aside the possibility that she could be in any way inconvenienced by bashing her head on the counter. What a line. Yes, the worst things have happened. The girl fidgets with her fingers as Lily doesn't seem to drop her concerned expression, and then she shuffles some papers around the counter for no reason. A little shorter than Lily, replete with glasses, freckles, and a very troubled look, she seems to fit a library perfectly. Lily, did you get my message? Message? Oh, the 2 imported books that arrived. Right, they finally came. I can't believe it took so long, but... Amidst her celebrations, partially for managing to change the topic, I'm sure, she notices me from the corner of her eye and freezes on the spot when she does. Oh no, I'm sorry for not noticing you before. Did you need to check out a book or return one? I'm sorry. The way she can so quickly shift between moods is a little unsettling. He's with me, Yuko. This is Asao, a new student. Oh, God damn, I read that wrong, didn't I? He's with me. Yuko, this is Asao, a new student. Asao, this is Yuko, the school librarian. Now that's more correctly, kind of read, because, the commas and the full stop and all that. Pleased to meet... I got the... Oh man, my throat. I could use a drink. I was about to voice him as freaking either Lily or Yuko there. Pleased to meet you. Asao, right, Asao. Pleased to meet you too, Asao. It's just my freaking throat. I need a drink. For a second, she... my voice. For a second, she visibly attempts to engrave the name on her mind so she won't forget. Don't you mean in her mind? Yuko often arranges to import foreign books in Braille for me. Would you like to tell Asao a little something about the library? And again with Braille, it's like Pokemon Emerald. I'm not sure if Sapphire and Ruby had the same thing. They probably did, I imagine. Yeah, they would have, I guess. But I've still got... I don't know where it is, but I've still got the manual booklet thing from Pokemon Emerald. Because the trouble with Game Boy Advance games is... they tend to get thrown out. Not the game itself, but the packaging they come in. Why didn't they make it like... Well, they did with the DS. But why couldn't they have done that with the Game Boy Advance? Have an actual case. Because it's just stuff like that ends up getting thrown out. Not by me, but, it's just hanging around the place. It's somebody else picks it up. Okay, bin. It's pretty much the only one that... I think... the casing for Pokemon Ruby, I've still got that somewhere, but Pokemon Emerald one has still got somewhere as well, but not the casing, but the manual thing. But the point is, in that it had the Braille system, didn't it, for the Reggies. I think it also might have had it for something else as well, but you get the idea. Actually, I think, did Fire Red and Leaf Green, I think, also might have done that a bit as well. That's the weird thing, is it's oh, you say Pokemon. Video games don't teach you anything, but Pokemon teaches you Braille, motherfuckers. Although I can't really remember it. So it's just kind of... whatever. But I remember being able to translate some of the stuff, so I kind of got somewhat used to it. I remember freaking having to go over it, just looking back and forth for minutes just to translate a simple sentence. But that's pretty much the same with learning any new language, really. Japanese, I still can't quite do that. It's this one quiz thing where it's shows you either a sentence or something, I don't know what it is, but essentially it's written in Japanese and it's just which is the correct spelling? They'll say something and I'll just be shit, I've got to figure it, and I'd go from my nose. It's it took me freaking forever to freaking come to conclusions, and I still wasn't that sure. I was oh man, I feel like I'm playing a game show here. It's just this could be the wrong answer, and oh, correct answer. Well, anyways, I'm rambling. Would you like to tell Asao a little something about the library? Lily's innocent suggestion is met with an expression of abject terror. Please, lady, I can't. I don't know what he would be interested in. This is too much responsibility. How it's any responsibility at all, I don't get. Her objection is so sincere, I don't doubt for a second that she would rather disembowel herself on the spot than tell me where the light novels are. Another just fantastic line right there is just like the banging her head on the desk thing. That was like the way he worded it was just what a line. But this one as well, what a line once again. What a line. But so there are a lot of books in Braille here. What the hell is that? I think it's actually the soundtrack giving off a bit of distortion at times. It makes it sound like a vibrating sound. I'm like, is that my phone? Because I have it on silent, so anytime well, I don't actually currently have it on sound actually, but usually like sometimes it just kind of vibrates, where it always vibrates when someone calls and all that. Not that there's really answer it anyway, really, but it's there, you know. So there's a lot of books in Braille here. I attempt to save the day by asking the first thing that pops into my head. It seems to work at least partially, as Yuko seems to, not exactly relaxed, but at least look slightly less tense. Well, I think about a third or fourth of Yumaku's library as I learned Braille or audio. Makes sense given all the blind students there had be here. If it's only that, how come this library is so big in the first place? Well, we get a lot of new books regularly because the library is inadequately endowed. That's probably why. Adequately, I mean, not inadequately. They spend more on new books than on my salary, and that I have to organize and shelve all of them. It's so troublesome, and they weigh so much, and the bird chirps all the damn time. I wish I could quit the job. Okay, just read that properly this time. It's so troublesome, and they weigh so much. I wish I could quit this job. A very awkward silence follows this revelation of too much information. I'll go check the aisles then, if you don't mind. It's probably best for all of us if she doesn't keep talking to me. Very well. Meanwhile, Yuko, I would have those books if it's alright with you.